Welcome back into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. We're going to preview the Cowboys versus Panthers matchup coming up here in NFL Week 6, plus hit all the injury news going on that front. Before we dive into it, if you want the Cowboys to beat the Panthers, show it by liking today's video. The data does not lie. More likes equals more likely to win. So do me a favor, like the video so the Cowboys can make it a winning streak in Week 6. The Cowboys are once again narrow-ish favorites going on the road against Carolina, a Panthers team fresh off a win that was fairly impressive given the way it went down against a bad Dolphins team. Dallas, meanwhile, is coming off of a fairly blowout win in terms of the actual score and how it got in the fourth quarter garbage time over the Panthers. Can't say I am surprised the Cowboys are road favorites. Again, you could have done the math on the flip if it had been a home game. Would have been closer to a touchdown at minimum there. Cowboys have the number 4 scoring offense in football. They still are allowing more points than they have scored this year. They are 29th in scoring defense. Panthers, though, have not been great at either. 20.4 points per game, 23.8 points per game, and rather streaky as well. This Panthers team, it's probably like the big takeaway. Which Panthers team do you get that shows up? The one that's won 30-0 over the Falcons? The one that lost 42-13 against the Patriots? Or had one-score games against Arizona and Miami? Maybe those ones where it's 27 points scored, 22, 24 points allowed in a win and a loss, so pretty even there. Maybe that's the true Panthers team. All right, some injuries to watch here for the Dallas Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb, let's begin with him. We'll know more on Wednesday when the Cowboys have their first practice and thus their first injury report. My suspicion is you're not going to have CeeDee Lamb available. I won't rule it out. I think there is a chance at it, but I've got next week circled as the kind of over-under for when Lamb is back. Tyler Booker might have a better chance than Lamb to return. He played through the high ankle sprain, so maybe that wasn't nearly as bad for Booker. That's kind of what Jerry Jones alluded to. I do think Tyler Guyton, I do think Tyler Smith will also be back from the tendonitis in his knee, the concussion. Think those guys will be available. We'll see about Jack Sanborn. Again, like Guyton last week, it's a concussion. Who knows how long it ends up being for return timeline there. We'll see about Marshawn Kneeland. Don't think it was that bad of an ankle injury, but if he's not practicing by Wednesday or Thursday, it's not going to happen. Same with Miles Sanders. We'll see. Maybe the Cowboys just let Jaden Blue get some more playing time. Still don't have the details on what happened to Donovan Wilson, by the way. We'll know Wednesday, but that one is worth mentioning. Also want to mention KaVontae Turpin on this list. I should have put him on here. Jerry Jones thinks there's a chance that Turpin's able to make his return from his foot injury. So long injury list. We'll keep an eye on it for you this week. Panthers injuries to watch. Not nearly as impactful. Tershawn Wharton, kind of a rotational defensive lineman, got paid a decent amount of money. JT Sanders has been good when he's healthy at times, but inconsistent there. Chuba Hubbard is the calf injury. We will come back to that because it is the Rico Dowdle revenge game. But Panthers not nearly as banged up right now as the Cowboys are. Let's get into keys to victory then for the Dallas Cowboys. And every week I've done Dak dominate, and I don't want to do that every single week. So even though Dak has been playing some really great football, I do want it to be more than just Dak Prescott. We will spend time in our second preview later in the week on some of the things you need to have Dak Prescott do. We'll talk about him throughout the week, the play action stuff. We got videos planned on that. I need to see more than Dak Prescott. The defense has to show up for the Cowboys. The run game, the offensive line, guys like Ryan Flanoy have to show up against the Panthers. Defensively for Carolina, there are some intriguing efficiency numbers. They're top 10 in rushing yards per game. They're only 12th in yards per game. They're third in success rate, but explosives and inconsistency have been the main issues there. They'll have a couple good plays in a row, and then it's like, wheels fell off on that drive. It's a quick scoring drive. And just leads to the EPA per play, expected points added, being really high while the success rate is doing actually quite well. Offensively, not that dissimilar. They haven't been very good in turnovers this year. They have a negative turnover differential. That's a factor in the EPA per play stuff. There are games it looks really good in Carolina. Hell, even that last win, the Dolphins-Panthers game. First half, Carolina fell behind big early. And then they found a way to rally in that game. It was not going well for Carolina. They were down 17-0. After that, they went on a 27-7 run to win the game. So which Carolina team shows up this week? Who you got? C for the Cowboys, P for the Panthers. It's the pinned comment on today's show, so go vote. C for the Cowboys, P for the Panthers. Next up on the key to victory, how about we avoid the Rico Dowdle revenge game? And this was the first real chance that Rico Dowdle had a chance to play this past week against the Miami Dolphins. Almost all of his season production came in this game. 51 carries for the season, 289 yards and 2 TDs against the Dolphins, probably the worst defense in football, even worse than yours, by the way. 23 carries, 206 yards, 9 yards per carry, and the touchdown. He could have even gone for more had he not had some cramping, as he said, and they gave Trevor Etienne some run there. Also had 28 yards through the air. Rico was thinking about the Cowboys after the game ended, too, by the way. They got to buckle up. I think they know for sure. They didn't keep me there for 5 years for no reason. They know I'm a violent runner. I'm looking forward to getting to the second level on them. They've just got to buckle up, which I think is probably a good thing. Rico's got the bulletin board material for the Cowboys run defense because it hasn't been as good of late. It hasn't been as impactful for the Cowboys. They haven't been as impressive against the run. They've kind of cooled off a little bit on that front. They are now 16th in run rate faced, exactly league average. 23rd in yards per game, 17th in yards per carry, 27th in explosive runs allowed, 24th in touchdowns allowed, 15th in stuff rate, 22nd in EPA per carry, 24th in success rates, 21st before contact, 13th after contact. Kind of regressed, even though the quarterback run game has been a factor here. They have regressed a little bit to kind of only being a league average, below league average run. It's been the last couple games, the Cowboys' run D has had some issues. Maybe the linebackers shuffling and inconsistencies there are playing a big factor, but this one is certainly one to monitor. Today's show is made possible by Ethos. I now have 2 kids, so trust me when I say it's not fun to think about what would happen if something happened, but you do need to be prepared. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ETHOS.com/NFL Daily. Ethos is a trustworthy company that disrupts the traditional life insurance industry. And as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. They're an online platform that makes the life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not months. There is no complicated process, and it's 100% online. No medical exam is required. You just answer a few health questions and get a quote in as little as 10 minutes. 3 million families have completed their applications and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ETHOS.com/NFL Daily. Application times may vary. Rates may vary. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Number 3 key to victory. You need to give Dak Prescott time against a Panthers pass rush that hasn't been that great. Look, we know how banged up the Cowboys offensive line was going into last week's game. To be able to play the way they did up front with all of those injuries gives me confidence they can do it again against Carolina. Yeah, Carolina's got Derek Brown. You know what? The Jets had Quinnen Williams, and I think the Jets' edges, as banged up as they were, too. I think Will McDonald's better than what Carolina has out there right now. The Panthers' pass rush stats per NFL's next-gen stats. 31st in sack rate, 30th in pressure rate. They got a worse pass rush than you do, guys. 18th in time to pressure. Their get off, how quickly they fire based on the player tracking data. 24th. Their blitz rate is 25th. They blitz less than you do as well. You should be able to have some success. And if you do give Dak Prescott time, normally when you start going longer than 2.5 seconds to throw, you get some bad plays. It means nobody's open. But when Dak throws the ball beyond 2.5 seconds, i.e. not quick game, he's actually 4th in the NFL with a plus .17 EPA per play. He's been really good when he's got time. He's been really good overall anyway. Give me your score prediction of the Cowboys against the Panthers. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. My prediction coming at the end of today's video. Number 4, key to victory, do not let the Panthers suddenly figure out how to have success with the deep ball. They haven't had really anything here this year on throws beyond 20-plus yards. The numbers per, again, NFL's next-gen stats, these are brutal. Bryce Young is 3 of 12. That's it. 79 yards. Of course, you're going to have a bunch of yards on short attempts because it's beyond 20 yards. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions, minus 0.95 EPA per play, which means every time Bryce Young throws a pass beyond 20 yards, on average, it's actually costing Carolina, a point, which is absurdly high. In fact, it is so much worse than anybody else's. It's dead last by about a third of a point, which is unbelievable. That's EPA per play, expected points added. Health of your offense, it's unhealthy. It's bad. Bryce Young is at his best in the intermediate. Not saying he's great overall. He hasn't been good so far this year. Dead last on throws beyond 20-plus yards. 24th, but positive in that intermediary. That's the Teteroa-McMillan range. He's been very good there. Under 10 yards, it's actually costing them, which includes screens and short throws. But Young has not been great this year. And when the quick game isn't working for Carolina, the offense isn't working. On throws beyond 2.5 seconds to make, the only quarterbacks worse than Bryce Young this year are Jake Browning, who just got benched in favor of Joe Flacco, Cam Ward, who hasn't been consistently good this year, and there's some chaos elements to his game, and Aaron Rodgers, who doesn't throw the ball downfield really at all and is all quick game these days. Make Bryce Young look beyond his first read, and good things will probably happen to you. What's your the over-under? I'll put it 22.5, which is right in line with the Jets game last week. So does the Cowboys defense allow that figure? O for over, which means at least 23 points. U for under. Over or under 22.5 points per game allowed by this Cowboys defense this week. Let me know in the comments of today's show. Number 5, key to victory. And I've mentioned this in the past, and the Cowboys don't always live up to it. Don't look ahead / get cocky. Most teams do this pretty much every single year. How they respond certainly matters, but very often you will see teams, the ego gets a little bit too inflated. They get a little bit too confident, a little bit too cocky. They start to think their you-know-what does not smell, and they make mistakes. And they have the trap game, the upset game that they should not have. Both these teams have 2 wins. It shouldn't be a trap game, but you don't want to start looking ahead to what you have coming up on your schedule. You need to focus on the here and the now and make sure you win this game. You can't worry about playing the Commanders next week. That game matters a lot, but you have to win this one. Otherwise, next week's game suddenly doesn't matter as much because you blew it and lost the big one. You got a bunch of good teams coming down the pipeline. This is one of your last not good teams you play. Take care of business. Make us have the conversation of, yeah, they beat the Panthers, but they're bad. Go beat them first and foremost. Before we get to my score prediction, we will be live for the Cowboys against the Panthers. We'll do the same start time as last week, 11:15 a.m. Eastern time. So if you haven't already, hit that sub button right now. My official score prediction, Cowboys narrowly cover the spread against Carolina. I think like last week, there's some Panthers garbage time that kind of comes into play. I do think Dallas will take care of business, get the win, and set up a prove-it game against the Commanders next week. But first, got to win this one.